Welcome to Geocache Adventures with me, Shadow Dragon 1, where I discuss geocaching and my adventures with it. If you enjoy the show, please leave a review wherever you listen to podcasts or on the Geocache Adventures Facebook page. You can also sign up for the Geocache Adventures newsletter, which features upcoming episode information, behind-the-scenes articles, and other fun articles and information. Hey everybody, Amy here, Shadow Dragon 1, and we're going to talk about Giga events. Now, we talked about mega events in Season 2, Episode 12, and some of this may sound familiar if you heard that episode because they are similar to each other. So, the geocaching event with a GC code that has more than 5,000 geocachers is a Giga event, which is quite a few more than we had for a mega size. So, geocachers of all ages and experience levels are welcome to Giga events. They are held worldwide. However, only one Giga event can be held in the world at a time. So, anywhere in the world, there's only one Giga event being able to take place at any given time. The goal of these events are to strengthen the geocaching community. They typically consist of different events that lead up to a Giga event. They have various games and competitions that could be held to win prizes. They can have some sort of theme. It can be a great place for you to pass along trackables and pick some up, swap tips and tricks, stories with other geocachers. They're typically an annual event, although the location of the city and state may change. So that way it'll move around the country or move around the world, and then different people may have an opportunity to visit that couldn't make it before because of the location. Unlike megas, you don't apply for Giga event status. Giga event qualification is determined by Geocaching HQ. You apply for the mega event status, and when they review it, you can get Giga event qualification. But that gets determined during the last 4 weeks prior to the event based on the information I found on the geocaching.com website. Events cannot receive Giga status retroactively, meaning if the event did not get the status before the event happened and it had over 5,000 geocachers there, it will not retroactively be changed to a Giga event status. The event must have at least 3,000 plus will attends to be considered for Giga event status. Since Giga events grow from mega events, like a mega event, it must consist of at least one main event held at one main location for a minimum of 4 hours. Other events outside of the main event are considered to be side events. Side event rules are the same for Giga and mega events. They need to be held near the location on the days before or after the Giga event. A CITO, CITO, can be a side event but cannot take place the same day as the main event and must be held at a different location than the main event to qualify. Side events are optional for the host to put on and are not required to achieve Giga status. Like mega events, Giga events also receive a sponsorship package from Geocaching HQ, which includes a custom souvenir, donations of tracking codes for event merchandise, geocaching logo banners, a visit from Signal the Frog, who is the official geocaching mascot and also a trackable. You can go back to Season 1, Episode 14 to hear more about Signal. You can find these Giga and Mega events by checking the bookmark list of Giga and Mega events that is kept by geocaching.com, and I will have a list to that in the show notes. So if you want to look for a Mega or Giga event somewhere near you or somewhere in the other part of the world to go travel to, you can check that out. Here are a few fun facts about Giga events. The Giga event icon was first introduced on April 22nd, 2014. The first Giga event was Project Munchie 2014 GC4K089. It was held in Germany on August 16, 2014. There have been 465 Mega and Giga events. There have been 364,264 attended logs on Mega and Giga events. It's estimated that geocachers have traveled a whopping 90,842,145 miles to attend mega and giga events around the world. That is a lot of traveling. Geocaching HQ lackeys have attended giga and mega events every year since they were introduced. So if you go to these events, you may get to meet yourself some of these geocaching HQ lackeys. And they're great people to talk to, find out some ins and outs, have a conversation with them. Sometimes these events will have a side event or side panel where you can go talk to lackeys. It's a lackey talk or lackey panel that they set up specifically for these events. So if you get a chance to go, check it out if they have it. So for the cache highlight this episode, I'm not going to put a spoiler alert up because we're going to talk about a Giga event, and the Giga event has already happened. So I have not been to a Giga event myself. So I have Lee Katz, Bar of Harkin, who you may remember from Season 2, Episode 1, where we talked about his Hidden History series in Peoria, Illinois, and from Season 2, Episode 11, when I talked about caching with Team Katz, when I got to cache with Lee and his daughter. And he is going to talk to us about his experience attending a Giga event. This interview was recorded using Zoom and may sound different than other podcast audio.
Hiya.
Hi.
Now I take it you have not been to a Giga yet.
I have not been to a Giga. And when I do these, special types of caches,
right,
it's cool when I can highlight that type of cache. And
absolutely.
I have not been to a Giga.
Well, as I understand it, and I don't remember which one it is, I want to say it's Moga. Moga? Maybe it's Moga. Anyway, one of the biggie events that's coming around, I believe it's next year, is in KZ, Illinois.
Yes,
and that's spelled C-A-S-E-Y. If you can, you gotta go. It's going to be a big event probably, but more importantly, the whole byline of the town is the small town with the largest things.
Yeah, I heard about that.
It's got the largest mailbox in the world. It's got the largest pencil in the world. It's just lots of fun. So if you can get out there, even before that, take the kids, they'll love it. But that's just my take on things.
Oh, I've got that one on my calendar. So which Giga event did you go to?
I went to the very first United States Giga one in Cincinnati. Me and my Padawan JMJ-WI from Wisconsin, and we had a ball. It was an absolute ball. Half the time we didn't know what the hell we were doing, but we were having fun. Well, because it's one of those things that once you experience it, and it might just be me, but once you experience it, you're like, all the way home, we were thinking, okay, what could have gone better and what could have gone worse?
Yeah.
And I will try to send you a picture if I can find it of the trackable back. I kid you not, it was one of those, what do they call them? Leftover trackables, or I don't know. Anyway, it's got a new buzzword to it, but it's basically a trackable that nobody freaking wants because it's so good darn big. Okay. This thing, I kid you not, was a yellow Jeep. Okay. A Jeep, like Jeep Wrangler, I think it was. And it was like 26 inches wide by, I don't know, probably 16 inches tall. I mean, this thing sat on its own table. It was so big. And I couldn't do anything with it. I put it in the back of my Equinox and it filled the back. So we had to put our luggage in the back seat.
What did you do with it?
Well, it's so funny that I happened to organize an ice cream social after I got back, more just to have an ice cream social. But hey, bring your trackables. You know how it is.
Yeah.
Bring your trackables. People can discover them if they want to take them with them and they work for them, whatever. We brought this one and it did go on its own table. And we did it at S2E16, which I don't know if you know what S2E16 is. It's a ice cream parlor that has all kinds of toppings, and it's frozen yogurt. And I mean, they have candy toppings, non-candy toppings, whipped cream, caramel, hot fudge, you name it, it can probably go. I mean, I got this Reese's Nutrageous thing. Yeah, there's a topping for it. Okay. So anyway, so I take this thing to the event, and we had people coming just by coincidence. We had people from Texas, we had people from Florida, we had people from Minnesota just drop in and do this ice cream social with me.
Nice.
So I think we had like 25 people there in total. It was just like a revolving door. I mean, people would come in, people would go out, they'd stand on the boardwalk right outside of, and socialize. And towards the end, these people from, I think it was Texas, said, "Hey, we're going back to Texas, and we got to have the biggest of everything because that's Texas. Do you mind if we take this with us?" I'm like, "Hell no, go right ahead."
That's nuts. Yeah, you
almost
have to get rid of them at events. There aren't a lot of caches accessible. I know there are some out there, but it's most areas don't have them.
This thing was so big. We actually, me and my Padawan, contemplated on the way home, "Hey, Jason, why don't you find a forest near where we're going to be that's got a cache deep in it or even close to deep in it, and we'll put a garbage bag around the thing and put it at the cache." Needless to say, we didn't do that. We felt kind of dirty doing that. So.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we didn't, because I'll tell you what, we're still getting we're kind of getting a geocaching organization together over here. And it had just pretty much kicked off back then to where we started getting some members. And it's the Middle Illini Geocachers. Shameless plug. And I just had to bring that as just a trophy to kind of bring people closer into the group, and it worked. I mean, a lot of people had a fun time with it. They're like, "Gee, Merry Christmas, how did you find this big thing?" I'm like, "I didn't find it, it found me." I mean, so we had a lot of fun with that. So
sounds like it.
Yeah. And no pun intended, but we got a lot of mileage out of that
one. Oh, that pun was intended.
Okay, maybe a little bit.
So the Giga event, did you go down? A lot of these have events before and after the main event on multiple days. How many days were you there for it?
We were there, I want to say we were only there for the last 2 days. Because at that time I was working a job that I couldn't get away from. My Padawan was working a job he couldn't really get away from because we're whatever. Anyway, so we went down. I want to say it was like 2 or 3 of the final days.
Okay.
Maybe 2 days. And yes, there are events. There are events the entire week prior to the weekend that the actual event's going.
Oh, wow.
So, when we got down there, we heard about, there was this steak fry and there was this yada, yada, all kinds of other side events that people just kind of, they planned their event around the Giga event. It just makes sense. While you got the bodies, you might as well do it.
Yeah.
So
makes sense.
And it was cool because when we got down there, thankfully, we got down there in time for, we were able to do the donut trail of Brown County, which if you get a chance to do it, it's a geo tour, and it's a real fun time.
The donut trail?
It's a donut geo tour, yeah. And my only advice is don't use Google Maps. Get an actual map, because There was a couple of stops where the Google Maps wanted me to stop on the side of the freeway because it's so close. You know,
oh,
it's like, here's the fence, here's the place that we need to be on the other side of the fence from the freeway. So I'm driving down, I don't even remember what freeway it is, but I'm driving down the freeway and it's saying your destination is to the left. No, it's not, because I'm not crossing this freeway. But
yikes.
yeah, so we get done with this geo tour, and one of the things that you do is, if you do so many of them, you automatically get a geo coin that's got the Browns County donut geo tour.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I was happy with the geo coin because that's what I did. I mean, I was into geo coins back then. But some people went a little further and got the commemorative shirt or whatever it is. Different strokes for different folks.
Yeah.
But it was really cool because we found some really kind of plain Jane geocaches, and we found some that were very creative. I mean, it's like, okay, this one was worth coming here. Yeah. But it's a long time to do it. I think it took us like 3 or 4 hours to do it.
Oh, wow.
Because it spans the entire county. So it was a lot of fun. But then we also had the opportunity, I think it was the night before the Giga event, they had a toga party in a neighborhood. I think it was Fulton County Park. And that was a lot of fun because they brought the Tyrannosaurus Rex, 2 people dressed as Tyrannosaurus Rexes. And I've got pictures. I'm going to send you a bunch of pictures that you can use if you want.
I'd love that.
And it was just so much fun. And we met we've met a few people from the Peoria area geocachers up there or down there, whichever direction it is. And so we kind of made our own little hub and had our own little time with that. And they had drawings out there, raffles and 50/50s, and every now and then you'd find somebody that's, vending something, and it was a lot of fun. Now me, because I had never been there before, by there I mean in a Giga event or even a major event. This was my first and only major event I've been to.
Okay.
So everything I say, take it with a grain of salt, because I'm not the most learned. But I had, first of all, as a pointer to whoever wants to go, invest in path tags. The path tags, as you've indicated on one of your shows, differences between path tags and geocoins. Path tags about the size nickel, a quarter, somewhere in between there. But in the geocaching world, as far as I'm concerned, and I may be wrong, but in the geocaching world, a path tag is a geocacher's business card.
Yeah.
For the most part. Okay. I've got 2 of them. I've got one for my namesake, Varv Harkin. Remember how to pronounce that?
Yes, I do.
There
actually.
You go. And I've got also one for my hidden histories down here in Peoria. So but at that time I only had the Varv Harkin one made because, like I said, that's my business card for geocachers. Make them. You can design them through. There's people out and about that will offer for a nominal fee to make a path tag for you. You just have to give them an idea of what you want. Okay. They'll do the design. They'll do the colors. They'll basically take it all the way to print or to press. And then you just shell out how much ever it is for the quantity you want. My Padawan and I had, I think we both started with like 200 tags.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You say, wow, but you know what? We didn't have a lot coming back with us.
Path tags are so awesome to find. And
they are. They're awesome to find, but they're even more awesome when you go to an event where they are trading them. They are trading them like like kids used to trade baseball cards. Seriously, this is an adult baseball card.
It
Okay?
is. It is. I need to get me one of them.
Yeah, you do, and send me one.
I
But
will. If I ever
yeah,
make one, when I ever finally make one, I've been saying for the past year I need to make one.
yep. So, we like I said, we took about 200 each. We didn't come back with much on ours, but okay, do you see this?
I see the box. And
Full
it is full
of path tags and let's see here. I have the original patch.
nice.
There you go. The original patch that's got Velcro on the back. And for your listeners that don't have, because I know this doesn't go into like YouTube, the box is about 3.5 inches tall by 4.5 inches wide by probably about 7 inches long. It's a cigar box, okay? And I have it up to there. So what is that, about 2.5 inches?
Yeah, a little over half, it looks like.
2.5 inches full of just path tags. My geocoins are literally in an ammo box with about an inch before the end. And a lot of these came out during Geo Woodstock. And it's just crazy because I didn't know what I was doing. Because here's the thing, when you get up there, and this is where I kind of started with the story about talking about what worked and what didn't work. Mm-hmm. You get up into the Geo event, a Giga event in particular, and this one was held in Coney Island of Cincinnati. So you get there, the first day, you have to go through registration and get all of your swag and your tickets to whatever. And it, basically, this is your roadmap for the way it's going to work for the next some odd days. Okay. But the problem is the people that were working that registration event were only concerned about getting you through that registration event. By that, I mean, they didn't tell you of the vendors that are going to be here tomorrow, or the path tag, this is the important part, or the path tag trade that is going to happen the night of the event. Okay? They don't tell you about all that. They all take you in as if you've been to one and you know what you're doing. This is a problem because I and my Padawan had no clue of what we were doing. We just kind of made it up as we went. And thankfully, we grabbed a few people from our local area that have been to these places before, or these things before, mega events or just major events, and got kind of, should we say, briefed? Because I can't really say mentored, but we got briefed on how certain things work.
Okay.
The path tag event, nobody told me about that. Nobody told me that, hey, the night after the event, we're all going to be here trading path tags under a tent with lots of lights, and you're going to have the whole damn time to do it. So me, being the outgoing personality that I am, I have a bag. I don't think I have any here. But the path tags come in like a velour bag or velvet, whatever it is. And it's a big purple bag. And so I had that tucked into my geocaching bag, which, by the way, had a trackable on it. So had it in my trackable bag. And I'm literally where I can, like the old newspaper boys, where they had that big satchel. Okay. And they stuck their newspapers in the satchel. I had my bag set up like that. So if I had somebody come to me with a path tag, I could just reach in there like Santa Claus and pull a new one out. Okay. Everybody's visualizing this while we're talking.
Yes.
So, but like I said, I'm the outgoing type. My buddy, he's kind of reserved back. And I'm sitting here trading path tags. Anybody want to trade a path tag? I'm walking around the whole damn park Coney Island, Cincinnati, like the vending guy on the Liberty Mutual commercial with the the wet teddy bears. And got a path tag. Anybody want to trade path tags? And people are looking at me some weird. Some people are actually coming up to me. Well, yeah, I've got a path tag. I'll trade. And we sit there and we talk for a while and we meet them. And some people we see later in my logs, for the local geocaches.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we see their geocaches out and about while we're geocaching that area.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of neat to see other people from other areas that are just as nerdy as I am. So I hope that answers your question. So we have these Roman, the toga party, we have the path tag thing. The day of the event at Coney Island, what they did was our tickets to the geocaching, the Giga event, our tickets paid for tickets to the rides all day and tickets, that allowed us to stay after hours for a while for the path tag thing after the park's kind of settling down.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was. And they told us the time frames, but again, they didn't really tell us the nuances of doing these things.
Right.
Which I don't know, whatever. But it was a lot of fun because we had that, and at the same time on the day of, they had vendors like what is it, Coast to Coast and all of these ones you keep hearing about,
mm-hmm.
Cashly and Cash Advance and all that stuff. You got all these vendors over off to like the far end on the right of all of the parking area. Vendors just strung out. I swear to God, there was probably every bit of 25 vendors there in that area alone that I know about. And then they also had another tent set up inside a little further, where at that time they didn't do adventure labs. They were just called lab caches. And I will admit, I didn't get a chance to get in there because that was the hot topic. Everybody who knew what they were doing there was in there. Okay. I had no clue of what was in there. All I knew was the lab cache, and it was literally it was elbow to elbow inside this tent.
Wow.
That's beyond me. My buddy doesn't like that kind of, socializing. Yeah. So we just kind of stayed away from that one. Not a big deal. Yeah, we're missing out, but it's a lot more comforting here. And so we made our rounds and we saw the food vendings that they had there in Coney Island. So it was a lot of fun, but it was a lot to take in over a weekend. I can
imagine.
It was a stupid amount to take over.
Did they, I know so Giga and Mega events are interesting because they'll usually have the same Giga and Mega events annually and move locations, but they're all different from each other. They have similarities, but they're different. So like right. At Moga, they have competitions and stuff. Did they have any of that there at the Cincinnati?
I don't think they did, because the Cincinnati one, they had a lot of lab caches going on. Okay. I heard that there was something like over 30 lab caches under this one tent. And that's just an insane amount of, that's what I'm saying. It's an insane amount of things going on. So if they did do some competitions, we didn't know about it for, reasons previously explained. They didn't tell us a lot, but maybe that's something that they did during the week before we got there. I couldn't say.
I don't know. I know when I went to Moga, I had a similar experience. You checked in, got your packet, and it was have fun. And okay, what's going on? And you kind
Yeah,
of
where
have
do
to
I
look
go
at the
next?
cache page. And there was a website, but sometimes information didn't match between the two.
Yep.
But it was still a fun time to go. But yeah, it's not when you have when you're there for the very first time without somebody experienced, it's not exactly intuitive as to what exactly is happening everywhere.
Right. Exactly. So that's one of the downsides. The upside, it was fun. It was fun from the moment we got there to the moment we left. It was just a blast. And anybody that can do it, I certainly suggest you do it. But the caveat is you better be a people person because you're going to have a lot of people to deal with.
Yeah.
Most of them are quote unquote regular people. There are some that, okay, we'll just kind of pass him by and hope he doesn't follow us.
A little more eccentric, we'll say.
So what was that?
A little more eccentric, we'll call them.
Eccentric. Yes, there we go. We'll go with that. Maybe geocentric. Maybe.
I like that. Geocentric.
Exactly.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, always a fun time. But it was a lot of fun. I don't know what Jason's take of it was, because he does seem to be a little more reserved than I am. So he might have had other thoughts. We discussed it a little bit on the way home, but we just kind of, I think we were still in the honeymoon phase of, wow, that was really cool. I mean, did you see that and that? And that was really cool, type of an affair.
Did you see Signo the Frog while you were there?
We did. I got a picture of him, and he was actually at the Toga event, which is when I got a picture of him. He was probably lurking around the Coney Island. I just didn't see it. But they did have another thing that people need to kind of be on the watch for when it goes to a mega or giga event is they will usually have some big size, good size, big thing that you're going to sign as your log. In the case of the Giga event, I want to say, I don't remember what kind of car it was, but it was a car.
That's awesome.
It was either a Prius or a VW Bug, something like that. But it was a real car that we lost, and people would have, permanent markers here, or if you happen to have your own colors, and if you wanted to doodle a little picture on it, have a fun time. But it was hot, so keep that in mind. But yeah, they do this car, and then I think the car belonged to a lackey, but I'm not sure. And for those who don't know, a lackey is somebody who works for Geocaching HQ. But I think it was a Geocaching lackey's car, and it was cool. I signed the back of the driver's side mirror. I know that for a fact. Nice. I don't know where my buddy signed it, but yeah. And then at one point, we did another signing where they put the Geocache, or not the Geocache, the Geo Woodstock sign. It was like a Hollywood sign, where it's big letters set out in a field, and it had Geo Woodstock and whatever number it was. I remember, I think it was like 18, 16, something like that. Anyway, Geo Woodstock, and then the number. And you could sign any of that as well. Okay. So me and my buddy signed that. And then after that signature was done, we waited around for them to organize. And this was the most cluster, of the day, was them trying to organize the group picture for FTF Magazine and Geocaching HQ. immortalized in the moment. And they used a couple of drones to take the picture, because back then the drones were a big thing. So let's use the drones. And it was just basically somebody that was operating the drone in a really good voice would say, "Okay, everybody, we're about to take the picture, and do this or do that." And it was kind of like a flash mob thing, honestly. If you've ever been with a geocaching flash mob, or think you know what it looks like, that was it. It was okay, everybody, this is it. Now, keep in mind there's 2 or 3 drones flying, so you didn't know which one was doing it. So you're looking like an idiot, just waving there, like you're a really fun guy, and at the third or fourth time, you're just like, yeah, whatever, just take my picture. I got people I got to talk to over here. So it was a good time. FTF did use the picture, or one of the pictures, in their magazine. So and that's where I got to meet Keith from FTF magazine.
Nice.
I got to literally talk with the geocaching vlogger and the people from Podcacher, Sonny and Sandy. Got to visit with them, and I got pictures with all of them, and it was just a lot of fun. If you get a chance to do it, it's definitely worth at least doing it once.
Yeah.
Once you get done, you can analyze it all you want afterwards, say, yeah, we'll do this again, or yeah, not likely. But I can say that I've been to the first US Giga event. Will I do it again? I'll do it in KZ probably, that's coming up, just because it is local and I do like going down there. But my Padawan wants to drag me off to another gig event, because that's just, you need to go to Canada to go to the next one. This was before COVID. The next one's up in Abbotsford, blah blah blah, Canada. Jason, I can't go. Well, yeah. I'll pay your way. No, I don't have the passport.
Yeah.
It's just, it's so much fun that he is so into this, and I don't know if I've just gotten this way with age or what. It's like, not a big deal now. I'm good. Been there, can say I've done it, scratch it off the bucket list.
That's funny. Yeah, I'd like to do at least one Giga event just to be able to say I've been to a Giga event. But
you should. And the only reason
I also do not have a passport, so as of right now, unless there's one going to be nearby.
And the only reason I did this one was because it was the very first one.
Yeah.
For the United States, and the fact that, minus I think it was a 6-hour trip to get there. Minus the 6 hours, it was relatively close. Probably the closest it'll ever be to me.
Yeah.
Minus the KZ one coming up. But it was a lot of fun, and it was a bit of an expense, I won't lie, because you're either gonna camp there.
Yeah.
If you got people that like to camp, go for it. Have a good time. My idea of camping is a Holiday Inn. So, but if you're going to camp, you can do that. But if you're going to do like a hotel or motel, you better get your reservations in like the minute the thing airs.
Yeah.
Because you literally have geocachers all over the world coming. This Cincinnati one, we had Newfoundland people. We had Netherlands. We had Germany. They actually had a Germany vendor out there.
Oh, cool.
Which, thankfully, they spoke English. It was a little broken, but it was English. And they had vending stuff that they were trying to sell. And it was just really cool. And they had Switzerland, and just talk about a melting pot. It really was neat.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I am dying to know. Did you wear a toga to the toga party?
Well, now I can't really divulge all of the secrets. You'll just have to wait for the picture I'm going to send you.
Okay, okay. So I'm just going to infer that you wore one and don't want to share the photos with us.
I can neither confirm or deny that statement.
You could, you just won't.
Probably not.
Well, thank you so much for coming on and telling us about your Giga event experience. This has been a lot of fun.
I hope I cleared it up for you and your listeners. I probably made it muddier, but it really comes down to this. If you get the opportunity, even if it's a bit of a drive for it, it's well worth it. If you're, I can't really say it, but I'm going to say it. If you're a real geocacher, you got to do it once, at least once. Then you get this nice little geocaching card that says, yes, I am a geocacher. But until then, it's word of mouth only. It is a fun event, and it does have its drawbacks, but more than nothing, you will have fun. I guarantee it. And you'll meet people that you think you'd never meet in your whole life, and it's going to be a memory for you. Hopefully a good one, but it's going to be a memory for you.
Well, it sounds like yours ended up being a good one, at least.
It was. At least as long as I've got a memory to remember.
Oh, well, thank you for this. I appreciate it. I really do. Thank you for listening to Geocache Adventures with me, Shadow Dragon 1. Have you heard of FTF Magazine? It's the magazine for geocachers. It is full of articles and photos, all sent in by geocachers like you. In fact, some of the guests that you've heard on this show have submitted articles to Geocacher Magazine. They have all kinds of neat stuff and publish achievements that are sent in by geocachers. So if you have an achievement you want to celebrate, send it in and they will add it to the magazine. It is really cool. I recommend it. I subscribe to it myself and I love it. Go check it out at ftfgeo.com. That's ftfgeo.com. And let them know Shadow Dragon 1 sent you. Would you like to be a guest on the show? Do you have a topic you'd like to hear more about? Let me know at geocacheadventures.org. Go over to the contact page and you can send me a message there. It has the podcast email that you can email me to, or you can reach out to Shadow Dragon 1 on geocaching.com. Geocacheadventures.org also has a store page now. You can go over there, geocacheadventures.org, and click on the store page in the menu bar and check it out. Got some great stuff over there for you.